Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady, where I help home business owners win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish. And when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. And today it is about sales tax. All right. And especially for my Ecamm squad at the recording of this video, we're getting ready to head into the Super Bowl Q4 baby. Okay. As we know that we're not right now, it's August, right? We're not officially in Q4, but honey, if you are in e-commerce and you are not gearing up for the last quarter of the year, you are behind. All right. So let's talk about it. All right. So June 21st, 2018, the Wayfarer decision came down, Wayfarer versus South Dakota. This was an issue about states and sales tax. And what the Wayfarer decision did is it replaced the requirement for a physical nexus with an economic nexus, which means that prior to the Wayfarer decision, if you had a physical presence in a state, then you were required to pay sales tax. But now with the Wayfarer decision said, okay, you don't have to have a physical presence, but if you are selling stuff in a particular state or from a particular state, then you may be required to pay sales tax. But the thing that the Wayfarer decision did not do is it did not set what was the definition of substantial economic nexus. And so that basically says that it's up to the states to decide, right? And there will be some states that have a safe harbor amount. There are some that don't. And really, it's just going to be up to each individual seller to know what the state laws require. How fun is that? Okay. But now, Kansas has said if you make one sale in the state of Kansas, you are required to pay sales tax. So what Kansas, they issued this notice on August 1st, 2019, and it's called the sales tax requirements for retailers doing business in Kansas. And what it says is that they're collecting sales tax on everything. So it says the Wayfarer decision, the court overturned the requirement established by prior rulings that a remote seller must have a physical presence in a state before that state can require the remote seller to collect the state's sales or use tax. This notice is intended to provide guidance to remote sellers doing business in Kansas, and it gives a definition of remote sellers. Now, it says Kansas imposes its sales and use tax collection requirements to the fullest extent permitted by law, gobbledygook, blah, blah, blah. Kansas can and does require online and other remote sellers with no physical address in Kansas to collect and remit the applicable sales or use tax on sales delivered into Kansas. Accordingly, a remote seller must register with Kansas to obtain a sales and use or tax account number. Okay. So if you are an e-commerce, you're selling nationwide, guess what? This applies to you. So it says that remote sellers who are not already registered, you have until October 1st, 2019 to do that. Any sales made prior to October 1st, 2019, they will not hold you to this requirement. And this notice also, talks about that Kansas is a member of the Streamlined Sales and Use Tax Governing Board. This is a group of about 24 states who have said, okay, we'll be members here. So sellers can go online, register in one place and be registered for sales and use tax in all of these particular states. Not all states are a part of this. And so what this means for my remote sellers is, listen, sales tax really is no joke, okay? Even though it started with the big corporations and all that, that's how it always starts. It always starts with the big boys, but eventually gets down to the small, e-commerce seller who's, mom and pop working it from home, that kind of thing. It always gets here. And this is why I highly recommend that you use a service for this. I'll put a link to a couple of services. You can check them out. But If you are an e-commerce seller, this is something that really does concern you. This is separate from income tax. This is, these are dealing with state sales tax. I know there's taxes all over the darn place, but you know what? It is what it is, okay? So sales tax is one of those sticking points for states because basically e-commerce was robbing states of their sales tax revenue from big brick and mortar businesses. And this Wayfarer decision opened the door for states to now collect sales tax from e-commerce sellers. And that's just the law. And so the last thing that you want is to go sell all this stuff all over the United States and start getting letters from these states and saying, hey, you owe us this money, because they will come for you. They want your money. And Kansas has said, okay, there is no safe harbor here. If you sell a $50 product in our state, you owe us the sales tax on that. So what I encourage my e-commerce sellers to do before this Q4 hits and you go and boss out and sell everything under the sun, because that is the time of the year, to make sure that you are compliant with sales tax. If you're using a third party, if you're using third-party sales like with Amazon and all that, you need to make sure, or you need to determine how sales tax is being collected and remitted to those states. Because, if we, we're in a, a technological, fabulousness, right? Because we can sell locally, we can sell all over the world. And not only that, you have other countries that are still collecting whatever sales tax, even if, you might be in the United States, but you may still owe sales tax in other countries as well. So this is not just the United States. And because we have such a global economy, these things are going to be, the cost of doing business. So you have to make a decision as to whether or not you are going to invest in, making sure your sales tax is collected and remitted. I really don't recommend doing this yourself, because you're talking about selling to 50 states, right? And unless you have the time to go register for all of those, hire a service to do that for you so that you can focus on growing your business. But Kansas has, thus far, put out the strictest policy when it comes down to sales tax, because, I think in South Dakota, their safe harbor, hold on, I think their safe harbor is something like $100,000 or something. It's something way up there to where it really would not impact the smaller sellers. But yeah, not Kansas. They're not having that at all. So yeah, so for South Dakota, there's a threshold of 100,000 in sales or 200 transactions for South Dakota. And there are some states that followed that, some that didn't. Some set other safe harbor rules. Kansas say we want all our money hunty. So before, Q4 really does hit, for my e-commerce sellers, make sure that you are set up for your sales tax so that you can be in compliance with the laws of the states, because the states will come for their money. I don't care if you are in another state, they will still come for you. Okay. I have seen it happen and it's not pretty. So that's it for, for this update, you guys. Kansas is not playing. Make sure that you're registered, and that, what is it again? The Streamlined Sales and Use Tax Governing Board. I'll put that link to that also in the comments so that you have it. So that if you're not registered there, you can do that. That'll cover at least 24 states, right? But even before doing that, I recommend using a service that handles that. That's their job. Invest in that, and then you just go make the money to replace it. Okay? So that's it for today's episode of Home Biz Tax Talk. Thank you for watching. And again, we air Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish, and you can come right here to get your questions answered about your home business taxes. All right? Have a great day, and I will see you all next time. Bye.